saying? Yeah. The fanatic. Where we keep it 100, keep it real. That's the only way we know how to be. Talking that sports talk. You know what I'm saying? Straight out of South Carolina, upstate, A64. Yeah. The FANATTIC. The fanatic, where we keep it OG. We talking sports, so I call what.
Welcome into the Fanatic Sports Channel for sports fans by sports fans. It's your boy, Coach I.
I'm the stat guy.
Hey, man, we ain't here for another game preview, man. Week 3, Georgia Bulldogs taking on the South Carolina Gamecocks, the SEC East game. You know how it is. You got to win your SEC. You got to win your division games if you want a shot at the conference, and this is one that both teams need to try to win to do so. Coming off of last week, Georgia with a okay performance against Sanford. Of course, you know, that's the team that Kirby's dad coached for at one point in time, and the head coach there gave Kirby one of his first jobs, if not his first job, I think, at Valdosta State as defensive back coach. So, you know, things like playing a shorter fourth quarter was agreed upon, but there were still times where we didn't look focused, for the lack of better words, during the game. It could have been, you know, a lot. It should have been, you know, even though Kirby wasn't trying to run it up. South Carolina's coming off of a tough loss in Fayetteville to Arkansas. How you feeling about that game, Jeff?
And you know, it was rough. You tell me on Friday night we scored 30 points in Fayetteville. I tell you, we're coming back 2-0. Didn't expect to give up 44. That was kind of heartbreaking. Had a couple opportunities late for the backdoor cover on the spread that just didn't get the ball to bounce our way, but that's life. I mean, felt that the offense took steps forward. Spencer looked good throwing the ball. The offensive line, I felt, took a step forward versus week 1. Still, biggest question mark is defensive line, being able to stop the run. Obviously, we've played two of the better teams of establishing the run and running the ball the whole game. So I'm interested to see how that goes throughout the season as we don't play that. But those are kind of the question marks after week 2 of where we're at.
Yeah, man. Before we go any further, man, they tell me I need to start telling people to, hey, man, comment, like, and subscribe. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It just doesn't feel natural. You know me, Jeff. I just want to come on and talk football, but that's what the people tell me I need to be saying. So with that out the way now, man, let's talk about the SEC East outlook, man. Right now, listen, Kentucky has the upper hand because Kentucky beat Florida, so they're 1-0 in the East. Vandy is 2-1, but you know none of those games were SEC games. Georgia is 2-0, but neither one of those are SEC games. So Florida is actually 0-1. So they're so technically you and Florida are tied. They'll probably be listed first because they're alphabetically. And Mizzou got beat by Kansas State, and they played a FCS or a Group of 5 the first week. But, Kansas State gave it to them real good. So right now, if you're talking about standings, Kentucky is sitting at the top of the SEC East. Tennessee beat Pitt, and Tennessee beat Ball State. So they're 2-0 as well, but, again, no conference win. What you thinking for the East so far, man? What do you think about the people, each team? Just give me like kind of who's contenders and pretenders.
So, Florida showed real quick that they are still a pretender. Things you love to see. That, Kentucky's there, man. I know they were there last year, and y'all kind of gave it to them. Y'all have to go to Kentucky this year. I'm interested to see what happens. Kentucky's a darn good football team. And they're going to compete with a lot of people in the SEC. So I think the top 3 is Tennessee, Kentucky, y'all obviously being the Georgia Bulldogs. I think Georgia's a step ahead still of everybody. But I'm very intrigued by Kentucky, Tennessee for second and third. My Gamecocks are 0-1. Before the year, I picked us to finish second in the East before the year.
Still on the table? Still
the table, control our own destiny, but third or fourth in the East is also still on the table. And my prediction for where I had us finishing at the end of the year is also still on the table. So a lot of football left, but I think really, if you say right now, who could realistically win the East, it's a 3-team race. But even within that being realistic, it's a 1 team. It's Georgia's to lose. And I'm very intrigued by the Kentucky-Tennessee matchup for second and third.
Yeah,
Obviously, and stuff of that nature.
yeah, I agree. I think it's Georgia's to lose. They still have to handle business in between the white lines. Kentucky, what I will say is Mark Stoops, man. I had told, I did the preview game with Taven Richardson, the former wide receiver for Kentucky that played with, Benny Snell and Lynn Bowden and those guys when they actually ended the streak against Florida back at like about 5 or 6 years ago after losing to Florida like 30-something straight times. They went into the swamp and got that win. He was on that team. Of course, he predicted Kentucky to win, and I predicted Florida to win because, Kentucky did that without 5 of their starters. You know what I'm saying? Not starters, but key contributors, one of which was Chris Rodriguez. I mean, listen, I don't. Let's just say I don't think Florida is. When you talk about the Utah game and the Kentucky game, I didn't think Florida would be here now. I thought they were a little bit not as good as they have been showing. What I do think has been understated, I should say, is Anthony Richardson is a good athlete. He's a great runner. We all knew that, but I think in our SEC East preview back in the summer, I said I still don't know what he is passing the ball. And right now, I think he in the last couple of games, has got more picks. He's got more picks than he has touchdowns. So as far as passing touchdowns, I could be wrong, could be kind of tied, but it's not a great stat. I know last week he was it's like 50%, 57% passing completion, which is, last in the SEC and at the bottom of, Power 5 in the NCAA. So he's going to have to get better at passing if Florida wants to try to contend for the East or, like you said, second or third. In my prediction for the East, I did say Tennessee and Kentucky. Whoever won that game would be second in the East. Kentucky is always gets up for Georgia. It is in Lexington this year. I just honestly, at the end of the day, I feel like Kentucky does a lot of the same stuff that Georgia does, but we do it with better players. I mean, it's not that Kentucky, I think Mark Stoops I don't think he's just one of the best coaches in the SEC. I think he's one of the best coaches in the nation. I mean, look at what the dudes did, and I don't even know if he's ever been in the top 15 in recruiting, to be honest with you. I mean, maybe he has, but the dude, he develops his players. He instills this confidence in them. I mean, and just talking to me and Taven, we've been cool since he was in the 7th grade. And Taven's always had confidence, but it's just different when he's talking Kentucky football, man. There's something about what Mark Stoops instills in them dudes, man. And Tennessee, offensively, looks good. Their offensive line could use some work. Their secondary is kind of, here or there. Their wide receivers are some of the best in the SEC. South Carolina, you guys, again, I told y'all, I told Oregon, I told Notre Dame. It's like you get a new coach. I know Shane Beamer's second year, but he's still trying to, undo what Muschamp did, get recruiting classes in there. Your offensive line still needs work. You guys are, got some commits from some high-profile guys. It's going to take him a little minute, man, and it's still, listen, he's got Columbia and, the Southeast on fire in the offseason, but you still got to be able to do it on the field. And that's where, he's going to have some growing pains there. But I don't think you guys will be, I think Mizzou and Vandy, well, I think they're obviously the bottom 2 in the SEC. I ain't gonna say obviously. Vandy said they 2-1, so let me take that back, man. Vandy said maybe they don't finish last this year in the SEC East, but just to stop rambling, what you said, I think it's Georgia's to lose in the East. Kentucky and Tennessee, I personally think will battle for second, even though Florida is not out of any of that. They could still win the East. They could still come in second or third. But I honestly think whoever wins y'all game, South Carolina and Florida, I think that's who's going to end up coming in third or fourth. You know what I'm saying? So that's a big game. All right, man. Enough of me rambling on about the East. Let's talk about this game coming up, South Carolina versus Georgia. All right, man. From a South Carolina Gamecocks game plan standpoint, Jeff, what do you think what do you think the game plan will be, and then what do you think it needs to be?
Well, I've been saying all along we have to establish a run, and I know we offensive line showed struggles week one, little improvement last week. I'm expecting more improvement against Shaw, but even Spencer Rattler came out and said it. We have to run the ball. We have to run the ball, and so I think we look at seeing the run game being a bit more of a focus. Obviously, need Rattler to not turn the ball over. He's got to take care of the ball. It's a weird thing. The thing that makes him so great is he's kind of got that gunslinger mentality, and Lord, it scares me because with who we are, I'd prefer a game manager, right? With just who South Carolina is, I prefer somebody that's going to take care of the ball, hand the ball off, make smart reads and smart throws. But that's not who he is, and so live and die this year off of his arm and some of the plays he makes. And there's going to be times where he makes plays that nobody else in our quarterback room the last 3 years could have made, and we're going to win games because of it. There's also going to be times where we're going to be in a game late, and his arm may come back to bite us. But, hey, that's the mentality of a gunslinger, and you got to love the fact that he wants the ball in his arm and wants to make those throws and isn't going to shy away from making them. But just plain and simple, we have to establish the run early, and we have to figure out a way to get Marshawn Lloyd going. I think as a team, we are only at like 150 rushing yards or 160 rushing yards for the season between two games. I mean, it's not good. That needs to be a single game total for us.
Yeah. So what about defensively? What do you think the plan needs to be, or what keys you need to? Who needs to play good? You guys got two major injuries. You got the outside linebacker and then the edge player. One guy you got from Georgia State who actually was third in the nation in sacks when he was at Georgia State with 10 or whatever. And then you got the other guy. They both tore their ACLs. Man, bad for them, man. I hate to hear it from them. I'll be honest with you, man. When you play teams, you hope to get their full roster, but at the end of the day, injuries are what they are. We'll talk about the Georgia injuries, when we get there. But how are you feeling about the defense and what they need to do?
You do. You hate to see the injuries. You hate to see two guys tear their ACL. You pray for successful surgeries and speedy recoveries for them. But, hey, man, this is college football. You have 85-man rosters for a reason. Next man up. We had a injury in our secondary, and freshman safety came in. Now he's starting, and he finished second in tackles last week. So, I mean, you got to have these newcomers step in. But the big key for us Saturday is going to be the defensive line. With Zach Pickens, Jordan Birch, Boogie, we've had high-profile guys. So it's not like they're just some random Jimmies and Joes on the line. We got 5 stars and 4 stars across that defensive front. So we have to be able to stop the run, and then we need to be able to get some pressure on Stetson and not just let him stand back there and pick us apart. The secondary's been playing okay, but the front four is going to have to show up to play Saturday.
That's for real. That's real. And back to just to add on to your offensive strategy, game plan. One thing you said, you do need to run the ball, and you mentioned get the ball to Marshawn Lloyd. If you're South Carolina, I think one thing is I haven't noticed who South Carolina is on offense. Who do you want to be? I mean, Spencer Rattler's a gunslinger, but are you a pass-happy offense? Are you a balanced offense? It's like they haven't really established what they really want to do. If you run the ball, Marshawn Lloyd needs more carries. Like I called you at the halftime of the Georgia State game. Dude only had 8 carries at halftime. I'm like, against Georgia State, though? Like, what are we doing here? You know what I'm saying? It's like, and then Juju barely touches the ball. I think it is. Personally, I think it's a mistake to try to use Jaheim Bell it looks like they're trying to use him like Debo was used everywhere on the field. He's not that twitchy. He's a good player, but I think you should I think if you're featuring the run, he can help out, but the feature person needs to be Marshawn Lloyd. And that's what it needs to be. And the offensive line, has to come to play better. Defensively, Cam Smith's got to be on his A game. You know what I'm saying? Though you got some young corners out there. So they just got to not give up the big play and make those young freshman mistakes. Like you said, next man up. Hate to hear the injuries, but you guys definitely got to bow your backs in that run game. Zach Pickens and like you said, Jordan Burch. Both of those dudes were 5-star dudes, number one player in South Carolina, I want to say top 10 in the nation, both of them. Georgia wanted both of those guys. Clemson wanted both of those guys. So these guys came out of high school. They're now seniors, you know what I'm saying? It's time to put up or shut up, you know what I mean? And there should be no excuse for at least, coming to play even if you don't have help behind you. So on to what Georgia is going to try to do or should be trying to do. Honestly, off camera, you and I talked Arkansas just, kind of ran the ball. I think Arkansas's offensive line is built more for, running the ball more than passing the ball. Our offensive line, one thing I'm not been pleased with is the push that we get on the offensive line in the run game. We basically have a stalemate. Like, we don't get pushed back. We'll get a slight push, but we don't get a push further strong enough so that we can create those big plays. So we're getting the hard 3 yards, the hard 4 yards. I mean, Kendall Milton's a load to bring down. So when he gets those, he gets about 5 or 6 yards just because he's hard to tackle, period. I think we better when we run Kendall Milton in between the tackles so he can so as soon as he get the ball, he don't have to, run at an angle, then make a cut. I think if he can get it going downhill right now, he's one of the hardest people to tackle. So I think that needs to happen. We got to get pushed, got to get to the second level. We haven't been great at getting to the second level, blocking on the linebackers. So there's been a lot of one-on-one tackles. A lot of times Kenny McIntosh get the ball, he's like, he has to try to find a hole, you know what I'm saying? Because we got that stalemate. We got to create a new line of scrimmage. That's what I want to see. A.D. Mitchell probably won't play in this game. He got hurt the first play of the Stanford game. He twisted his ankle a little bit. Kirby said, I know he didn't practice yesterday. I don't know if he practiced today, but he's going to take it slow. Ron Corson, our medical trainer, our medical guy, said he was optimistic. I don't know if Kirby will play him unless it's absolutely necessary. Last week, we got to be more focused than we was against Stanford. We had some open guys. We had some drops. We had Stetson kind of threw it a little too high on a couple of times. I think our game plan is going to be to come in. We're going to establish the run, but I think we're going to spread the ball around. Look for it to look not as pass happy as Oregon, but a little bit like that. You know what I'm saying? I think we're going to get the ball early and often to Brock Bowers and Darnell Washington. Kenny McIntosh will definitely, with the absence of A.D. Mitchell, Kenny McIntosh will definitely be in the passing game a lot. He's going to be in the passing game every game anyway, but even more so now. Dylan Bell, the true freshman, he'll play some. Jackson Meeks actually played good. I've been screaming Jackson Meeks for the past 3 years, man. Out of Phoenix City, Alabama. You know what I'm saying? Those Phoenix City receivers, man, they come in ready to play. He's been battling injury. On defense, I think we're gonna have to stop the run and make. I think if we make you guys have to pass, I think that's bad for y'all. You know what I'm saying? If you guys can establish the run, and Marshawn Lloyd can start, getting chunks of yards, then that'll help y'all. Help what y'all want to do. But if y'all have to pass the ball, I just don't see as many. Startner hasn't. I don't remember what his injury was in Oklahoma, but he hasn't looked like what people thought he was going to look like. Jaheim Bell, I could say, listen, man, he's not a Swiss Army knife. The dude's a pass catcher. That's what he needs to do. Every blue moon, put him back there. He's not twitchy enough to run the end arounds and things that they haven't running. I think Josh Vann in the passing game needs to be more involved. That dude got behind our secondary several times last year. So he's definitely capable. I think he's, one of the better receivers in the SEC. So I think it'll be a game plan to kind of try to make sure we cover him up, you know what I'm saying, and make didn't y'all have another guy trying to step up last week, Antoine
Wells. They call him Juice Wells.
Yeah, Juice Wells. So I think he's going to have to play well, but I think we will roll coverage if we roll coverage. So a lot of times we play straight up, but I think let's just say, we'll be mindful of Josh Vann because we don't want him to break out and trying to contain, like I say, if we can shut down or slow down Marshawn Lloyd, I think that's the game plan. You know what I'm saying? We got some young inside linebackers. So that defensive front is going to have to play, hopefully take advantage of some of the miscues by the South Carolina offensive line. All right, man. It's that time. You know, we've been waiting on it. They tried to call you on it on the live post game Saturday night, man. It's time to get that prediction on camera. What you got, Stat Guy?
Well, so first of all, the spread. Oh man, you hate to see it. Oh, you hate to see it. Georgia coming to South Carolina, giving my Gamecocks 24.5. Just hurts me in the pride. And then the over/under for the game is 51.5. Before I give you my prediction, I will tell you the biggest key of the game Saturday is not even what happens on the scoreboard. It's what happens when we have the number one athlete on campus for his visit, 5-star recruit. He's like number 4 or 5 in the entire nation. He is the final piece of this immaculate class that Shane Beamer has been putting together. Another guy from the DMV, 6'6", 235. Even though he's listed as an athlete, everybody projects him to be a defensive end, kind of hybrid coming into college. He runs a 10-200. So welcome home, Nicholas Harbor, because we rolling out the red carpet. So that's the real thing we're trying to win Saturday. As far as my score prediction, I can't wait to get buried in the comments for this one. 21-17. Go Cox.
21-17 Gamecocks. Okay. So you said 24.5 with a 51.5 over. This game to me has a lot of 2018 vibes when Debo said he didn't know who DeAndre Baker was, and we ended up winning 41-17. It has a lot of those vibes. I'm thinking it's going to be something like 38-13. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking you score 1 touchdown, 2 field goals, 38-13. The Dogs, in my score prediction, the Dogs actually cover the spread because I think Kirby ripped into them a little bit for not being focused last Saturday. And if you as a team, striving to try to make it back to the college football playoffs, the SEC championship, and a shot at the, a shot at back-to-back titles, you got to be focused. And if you lose focus, you rather it be Sanford than a SEC conference game. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm saying. I'm saying 38-13. Dogs come back out, laser focus from the beginning. Hey, man. Nicholas Harbor, we showing you where it's really at, man. So it's going to be a chance for Nicholas to get to see us up close and personal, too, because I think in that recruiting battle, South Carolina does have an edge on some of the other teams. I don't know if they're number one, but I think they got an edge. Definitely on Georgia. I think Georgia's in the mix, but I think South Carolina has the edge. There it is, man. Listen. Get in the comments, Dog fans, Gamecock fans. Put your score predictions down. Don't try to come back after the game and say, I told you Dogs was going to win 41-17, or I told you the Gamecocks was going to cover the spread. If it ain't in writing, I don't know that you said it or predicted it. So there it is, man. Me and Jeff, we go back and forth. Gamecocks, Dogs. Hey, it's time to it's time to show them who Big Brother is, man. For Jeff, the stat guy, this is Coach I, the fan addict. We out. Go Dogs.
We got it jumping like it's that valley. I call my dogs out the pound, let's go eat. Turn on the fan addict, let's have a debate. Who really hold down the Southeast from state to state? What team hungry gonna eat everything up off they plate?